One of my students said this, so I won't take credit for it. I will not take credit for it. Donna. Donna says that when a door closes and when a window closes and a door opens, no one tells you about the hallway. It's just brilliant. Donna, I love you. It's her, I can't take credit for it. So the first thing I said was, I'm done with this level of misery. So I didn't run toward anything first. The first thing I did was try to get as far away from chaos and scarcity and lack and procrastination and procrastinating people and making excuses, making being a single mom an excuse, or being Black an excuse, or being born in LA an excuse. Not to say those things don't impede or have an impact on our ability to move forward. But I didn't want to make any one of them my crutch as to why I stayed in my hellhole. I don't know about anyone else, but my place, I didn't know where I was going, but I knew where I was leaving. And so when I say to you, I didn't choose the possibility first. I just stopped choosing the chaos. See, there's a couple of there's several choices you have to make, because your answer isn't going to come with the ceiling opening and lights beaming in and a choir showing up and no, that doesn't happen like that. If the first thing is, I was sick of smelling my own crap. I was sick of hearing my own story. I was sick of wondering about my own potential. So I realized that everything I had done had gotten me where I was. And everything I didn't know was going to get me somewhere else.
Yes.
Then lies the turnaround. I began to become an explorer of what I don't know. I want to read books I'd never read. I want to hang around people that I'd never hang around. I want to know what they know. I want to have discussions about things I'd never talked about. I wanted to feed my brain something that my brain didn't know, so that my brain can tell my body to do something it never done. So then when my brain feeds my body and my body feeds my life, then I begin to have an experience that I'd never had before. It wasn't rocket science. People want to make success rocket science. Success is not rocket science. You go and find the thing that you don't know, learn the thing you don't know, and do the thing you haven't been doing, and get the life you say you want. All I wanted was unfamiliar. But you have to understand that most people don't invite in unfamiliar, because people are more committed. Hold on. People are more committed to a familiar discomfort than they are to an unfamiliar new possibility. The key words are familiar and unfamiliar. See, we want to have a new experience while having some of the same behaviors because they're familiar to us.
Yeah, they're comfortable.
They're familiar. Some of them not even comfortable. People in relationships are not even comfortable.
True.
It's just familiar. People are still at jobs that aren't even comfortable.
Yeah.
They're just familiar. So that's the crazy, is that we are more committed to a familiar discomfort than we are to an unfamiliar new possibility because of the familiarity, not even the comfort. I became comfortable living in the discomfort of the unknown. I made myself, every day I was like, new terrain, new terrain, new terrain. But at least I wasn't in that old terrain anymore.
Yep.
And the new terrain didn't always bring me a good result.
Right.
I was ignorance on fire some days, right into the wall.
Especially at first. You're bumping
Oh my
the walls,
God.
you don't know what's going
At
on,
first,
you're learning,
At first, please, my mistakes now are 7-figure mistakes. I'm not without errors now. Now there's 7-figure errors. Trust me, I've paid the attorneys, but I'm still new terrain.
Yeah.
I'm the same woman I was at 25, at 28, at 30, new terrain. And so I began to explore what I didn't know. I surrounded myself with people who made me want to stand on my tippy toes.
Yeah.
I surrounded myself with people who made me want to be a better woman, not just in the money I made, but in the way I parented, and the way I showed up, and the way I looked at humanity. I began to be around people who respected the color of my skin and my culture. Don't forget it. Don't say we're all the same, because we're not. My journey isn't your journey because of the gender, the background, the origin, the religion. They're not the same. Right. So let's not act like we're all gray, because we're not. But can I dance in the dynamics of our diversity? See, I began to hang around people who allowed me to dance in the dynamic of our diversity. and began to find ways where we can both become better people because we sat together. I began to hang around old white men because they, and not every old white man, but older white men, because they seem to have had this conversation, this relationship to wealth and wealth management that I didn't have. And I didn't abandon my nationality, my culture. I want to go collect information so I can come back and open the door and keep the door open so we all can come through.
Absolutely,
Black, white, Latino, Asian, everyone, women, everyone. So I would sit at the feet of people who I wouldn't even have dinner with 10 years before.
Yes.
I would sit at the feet of people who I didn't even know if they really liked me. I'm not sure.
Yes.
I stayed in a place of constant learning and discomfort. I was the peon every day, all day. I didn't need to be the biggest fish in my pond. I would sit and I would just learn. I would sit and I would learn. I would sit and I would learn. I would sit and I would learn. And then the antidote, Joan Baez says, and my coach Susie Carter first shared this with me, that Joan Baez says the antidote for despair is action. So I said, how can I be in action? I was always looking to be in action. What else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? And then I go learn. And what else can I do? So to me, there's a very short line between learning and doing.
Yes.
And if you haven't done anything what you learned, why are you getting more education? You haven't even applied what you, like I'm a hell of a coach now.
It's like people who read a book and they don't go apply it. They just want to read the next book.
Right. Hi. The book I read when I was in my deepest, darkest hour, Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, changed my life because I got into radical action behind it. I was like, oh, Stephen Covey talks about attending your own funeral, doing a visionary session where you attend your own funeral and there are 4 people to speak. What will those 4 people say about you? What kind of brother were you? What kind of friend were you? What kind of social change agent were you? What kind of neighbor were you? Man, when I did that exercise, I was like, oh, I'm a nice person, but I'm not getting they're not saying the things about me that I want to be said.
Right, yes.
I'm writing my eulogy right now, Omar. I'm writing my eulogy. I'm writing my legacy. I'm not just living for now. I'm living for the 40 years from now story being told about me. I'm living for my grandchildren's story about who great-great-great-grandma was. And when you live for a lifetime, not just your life cycle, but a lifetime, you live for the legacy. I'm writing my legacy now. You won't sweat the small stuff anymore. You won't get caught up in gossip. You won't get caught up in living inside worry. You might worry, but worry does not have permission to take up real estate in your body. Worry is chased by solution and strategy.
Yes, by action, yeah.
And I always tell people, listen, I'll have every emotion like everyone else. I'll have fear, I have doubt, I have judgment, but you cannot take up real estate in my body. There's no lease options to buy in my mind. Don't lease option buy in my mind and don't take up real estate. I got things to do. I got changes to make. And I'm not a super shero. I'm not. I'm an ordinary woman. I'm an ordinary woman who chooses every day to make one more extraordinary decision. Because if you make me an extraordinary woman, then all of a sudden you get to bow out if you don't consider yourself extraordinary.
You give yourself permission.
Right.
Of course, Lisa
she's
Nichols
right.
could do it.
She's extraordinary.
Lisa Nichols,
Right.
yeah.
I'm an ordinary woman who simply have made enough extraordinary decisions to have created an extraordinary life experience.
That's beautiful.
Everybody gets to do that though. There's no hookups. There's no hookups. There's no magic potion lotion. There's no sprinkle fairy dust. There's no magic wand, and there's no club. If so, I've already crashed it. You might as well come on in now.
So let me ask you this then. For people watching, they will love this, and a lot of them will say, well, maybe I'm in my own rough situation, right? For the audience at home.
Right.
Maybe they're struggling financially. Maybe
Right.
they can't afford the Pampers or the metaphor of whatever that is. Let's talk about money and actual achievement, because although there's layers in life that are more important, there's no denying that money's integral.
It's a tool. It's a team member.
So let's talk about the mindset as it relates to the law of attraction and money. And what would Lisa Nichols' best advice be to somebody out there to get their mind right, their money right, their business right? So what's the best wisdom you've deduced about the way money flows?
So first of all, to recognize that money is a relationship. It's a relationship, and the way you relate to money is the way money relates to you. If you think there's never enough of it, then there has to never be enough money for you.
So money follows your beliefs.
Money is your money relationship, your money experience is a result of your beliefs right now.
Yes.
It is a result of your beliefs. And oh, by the way, here's the news. Your belief systems were handed to you by your parents and by your grandparents, and they were pretty much embedded by the time you were 10 years old. So there's some beliefs that you didn't even have a chance to develop for your own. You just are living them out.
You inherited them.
You inherit the belief system.
Know it. Yeah.
And didn't unconsciously inherited them. And so the good news is you get to choose to the belief systems you like, and then you get to divorce. I'm going to say divorce because that's a strong word. We all know what separation looks like when you say divorce. You get to divorce from a belief system that doesn't serve you any longer. A belief system that says money is the root of all evil, maybe. Or a belief system that says only rich people have money, or all rich people are crooks, or my belief system used to be that wealthy people aren't spiritual. That if I'm wealthy, I can't be a spiritual person.
You have to pick God or money.
One or the other. I got to pick my faith or my finances. I can't have both. That's a belief system. And I invite you to divorce it because it's not the case. I have both. And I live in both quite well. I use my money for good in the world. And the more money you have, the more good you'll do if you're a good person. So money makes you more of who you are. So you will only be more of who you are with money. And so, number one, understand your belief systems. I have this program where I look at your money blueprint, and I help you look at your money blueprint. And I ask you questions. How was money in your household? Was it the source of argument, the source of contention and divisiveness? Because if so, you don't want money to divide you and your family. So you might not want to have money around, or you want too much because you don't want to be divided.
You don't want to be judged,
right,
or whatever.
Or did it keep your parents away? Like, what was your relationship to money as a child? Because that's fueling you. That has an unconscious influence over you now.
A filter of how you see everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you want to bring from the unconscious to the conscious. You might not be listening to it, but you definitely don't want it to have any unconscious power over you. So that's number one. Be aware of your money blueprint. How is money related to in your community? How is it related to in your house? What did you think about money? How is your faith attached to it? I used to think that literally in order to be like Sister Brown, who was like the most godly woman in my church when I was a teenager, she was amazing. But we also had fundraisers for Sister Brown. That I could not have $1 million in my bank account and be Sister Brown.
Yeah.
So I had to it took me years to do that.